Welcome, everyone, to Dinging Corners, a baseball podcast powered by Slab Stocks. I'm your host, Nate, and today we are going to be talking about the biggest release for Topps this year. I'm predicting Topps Series 1 Baseball 2021. I think it's going to be bigger than Series 2. I think it's going to be bigger than Topps Update. The checklist is loaded with quantity, maybe not quality, but definitely quantity. And I'm very excited today for this podcast. So let's get into it. Let me talk to you about Slab Stocks Breaks. It's our new breaking service that we've got going on at Slab Stocks. We rip packs, boxes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I usually rip baseball and football on Thursdays when I go down to Milwaukee to rip. And you can join those at slabstocks.com/shop, and you can join the breaks there. And if you just want to watch, you can go to YouTube Slab Stocks on there and watch our live videos there when we're ripping, and also where you are going to be watching this YouTube video unless you're listening to it on podcast. So that's what we got going on. Ripping some 2019 Bowman baseball this week and some 2016 Bowman drafts. We're hunting for some Wander Franco, some Marco Luciano, and some Bo Bichette. Hope to see you all there. So let's get back into the podcast here. And like I said, we are going to be talking about 2020 Topps Series 1. Now, for months, I'd been talking about how good this checklist should be. There should have been a number of guys that were going to be amazing. And so I've got a little share screen here, a little notes. And so you're seeing my notes here, and we've got a number of guys. Let me make that a little bit smaller so it's easier to see them all. And so we're looking at Dalton Varsho, Joey Bart for hitters, Tyler Stevenson, Keibert Ruiz, Ryan Mountcastle, Evan White, Nick Madrigal, Luis Garcia, Andres Jimenez, Isaac Paredes, Alec Baum, Christian Pache, Leota Tavares, Jesus Sanchez, Jordan, Dylan Carlson, Sixto Sanchez, D.V. Garcia, David Patterson, Albert Abreu, Tarek Screwball, Nate Pearson, Bo Burrows, Brady Singer, Luis Patino, Dane Dunning, Chris Bubik, Ian Anderson, Spencer Howard, Tristan McKenzie, and Casey Mize. So there is the list of guys that we are going to be looking at today. It's a brand new product. It comes out next Wednesday. They are having the Topps Rip Party, a bunch of different breakers. They did not invite me, very offended, to be breaking Topps Series 1 next Wednesday. So check that out if you can. Should be huge. Those are just a list of the guys that we're going to be, that are in it. Let's look at the parallels and stuff real quick so you get a feel for it, and then I will talk more about the product itself and how I feel about it. And so we've got Topps Series 1. Big thing, 70th anniversary celebration. So they did the same thing with last year's Series 1. I don't know if that celebration happened with COVID. I doubt it. So they are having the 70th anniversary tickets. If you happen to pull one of those, obviously extremely, extremely expensive, and somebody would be willing to pay a high price for that. It's the 70th anniversary, so you're going to be seeing this logo. If you look at this Joe Adell, you'll be seeing this 70th anniversary parallel or little logo up there for the Topps logo instead of the normal Topps logo. Pretty cool looking in my mind. I like the design of the card. Very simple and should really make parallels, if you can see that. The white border, it's hard to see on the white, obviously, but the white border should make the parallels really pop out. A 330 base card set, which is a little bit lower. You can see that here, 350 in the past, 330 this year, so that's nice. A new platinum anniversary numbered to 70 insert, which is cool. I'm a little concerned if the platinum is 70, what are they going to do with the platinum 101s? That could get very confusing. And so interesting. Very, very interesting. So the platinum anniversary parallel is numbered to 70, and the 70th anniversary parallel is numbered to 1. Same ink color, same patterns, but you'll just have to find out. So that's going to be weird. But we got the same parallels. Gold foil, that's only in the jumbo. If you buy a hobby box, you will not be getting gold foils, but you will be getting, the rainbow foil and the golds and stuff. But they got gold foils in jumbo boxes. Rainbow foil, gold, numbered to 2021 this year. Vintage stock, Independence Day, black, numbered to 70. Platinum anniversary, numbered to 70, like we talked about. Mother's Day, Father's Day, Memorial Day out of 25, which is also known as camo. and then the 70th anniversary 101 and the printing plates. So your same thing, except for obviously the anniversaries. The blacks are numbered to 70 now. The golds are numbered to 2021. You'll have clear parallels of rookies for the most part out of hobby. So in hobby does clears, jumbo does gold foils. And for the most part, you usually get a black in jumbos, whereas you don't always get a black. At least I've never gotten a black in hobby boxes, but I've usually always gotten a black in jumbo boxes. So a little tip there for you, type of thing. We got some inserts. Derek, pretty cool Derek Jeter looking card. We've got some 70-year baseball inserts, Christian Yelich. You've got the 1986 design here. You know how they'll always do a retro design for some of these autos, and it's 1986 this year. Obviously not the most sought-after cards. Some die cuts, like they did the die cuts last year. But all in all, your generic looking stuff there. So that's all I got on that. Let's talk about, I'll stop sharing screen here. Sorry, I got a little confused there. Stop sharing screen here and talk about the product, and we will actually share that notes app again because I want you to look at the names while we're talking about it. So here's the product, and here are the names, and obviously a ton of pitchers, really good pitchers, but pitchers don't sell for Topps flagship rookies. They just don't. You're not going to get a good price for them, so you can cut those out completely. We don't care. So let's just look at the hitters. If you're a collector, yeah, there's some nice names in here. If you're an investor, no, stay away. So now we're looking at the names, and we've got, to start off, a list of 4 catchers here. Dalton Varsho, Joey Bart, Tyler Stevenson, and Keibert Ruiz. Obviously, all top 100 prospects, all very good. Joey Bart obviously has the potential to change the catching position for cards. But until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. So Joey Bart is like one of the top names in the product, and yet, because he's a catcher, I don't know if there's going to be huge value. We will have to wait and see if the market corrects itself on catchers. You look at a guy like Will Smith that came out of 2019 Topps Update, and he is not that expensive when considering that he has like the best slugging percentage out of catchers in baseball in the last 2 years, and yet people are not paying for Will Smith. So a guy like Joey Bart might be able to change it. Was obviously the number 2 pick in the draft a couple years ago, and now has his rookie card, but until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. You move on from there, you've got guys like Ryan Mountcastle and Evan White, first baseman outfield types. Evan White has not played outfield in his career yet in the majors, but I believe he has the ability, and I believe he will get put there occasionally. The problem with Evan White is that he's so stinking good at defense, it's hard to move him off there. He's like an 80-grade defender at first base. Ryan Mountcastle, first baseman outfielder, has played a lot of outfield with the Orioles last year, and is a very good hitter. One of those guys that's exciting, but would be more exciting if he plays outfield full-time than first base. You move on to second base, and you've got Nick Madrigal and Luis Garcia, 2 really interesting players for different reasons. Luis Garcia because he's young and has time to develop into a very interesting player. Nick Madrigal because he's a bit older and yet does so many things so well, barely strikes out like 3% of the time, that he becomes a really interesting player from a team standpoint, where I would love if the Brewers had Nick Madrigal on their team, right? Love the guy, love a lot of the things he does. What I wouldn't love to do is invest money into Nick Madrigal, and that includes his rookie cards here, not just his Bowman Chromes, but his rookies. He just does not have the power, literally almost no power at all. If it was a 20/80 scale, I'm sure he probably has like 30 power. Not great. And so you don't really want to invest that type of money in that guy. And Luis Garcia also doesn't have big power whatsoever. Maybe at their heights they get to 10 home runs. Maybe. I know if a guy like David Fletcher can get to 10 home runs, these guys probably can too. But again, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. And I'm not willing to put my money there on guys like that. And so Nick Madrigal, Luis Garcia, interesting players, but money-wise, not for me. Andres Jimenez, shortstop, second base, probably going to be playing second base for the Indians. He was traded in the Francisco Lindor trade with Ahmed Rosario. I'm sure Rosario will be playing shortstop, and Jimenez will be playing second base. Again, I'm pretty down on him. Bounce back, candidate. We'll see what happens. Change the scenery candidate. but not the type of guy that you're going to be spending money on. So we've made it halfway down this list, and yet there's not a single guy that I'm like, yes, I want to spend my money on him. But all of these guys could blow up. If the catching position changes, Joey Bart could blow up. Ryan Mountcastle could blow up. Evan White switches to the outfield. He becomes infinitely more interesting, could blow up, right? So a lot of interesting players, but not a ton of value. Isaac Paredes, third baseman for the Tigers, and Alec Bohm, third baseman for the Phillies. Now, this is where things get interesting. Isaac has a really good hit tool, a decent defender at third base, strong arm anyways. And if he could just get a little bit of power, he becomes interesting. He's got like a 40 power on the 20/80 scale on Fangraphs. So if he could get a little bit more power here, he becomes an interesting player. But again, not a player I'm buying the product to get. And you'll find this with other products that we'll talk about later. Next on the list, Alec Bohm. Obviously, we just talked about him. Now, this is a player that I would buy the product to get. Alec Bohm is a guy that you are buying this product and saying, I hope I hit an Alec Bohm rookie. I imagine his PSA 10s out of the gate will be $50, $60, $70. Like your Gavin Lux's, your Yordan Alvarez's, your Bo Bichette's last year. So Alec Bohm, super interesting power, third base, big time get. Christian Pache, developing power, developing bat, defensive first guy. He's the real wild card here for me. I think it's likely that he becomes a decent hitter. I don't know if I'm going to bet a ton on it, but a decent hitter. And so he'd be the guy that I'd bet on being the fourth star behind Bohm, behind Joe Adell, who we'll talk about, and behind Dylan Carlson. The next two guys on the list, Leota Tavares and Jesus Sanchez, two guys that there's potential there, but I wouldn't bet on it. There has been prospects that came up, not a ton of glimmer on them anymore. Weak hitting outfield prospects are guys I don't really want to invest my money in. And so, but they're on this list because there is still potential there. You never know what's going to happen. They're former top 100 prospects. So you got those two guys. And then obviously Joe Adell and Dylan Carlson, big time athletes, big time power out of the outfield spot. These are two guys that you would also want rookies of if you're getting them $50, $60, $70 PSA 10 probably. Joe Adell might even be more just because of how exciting of a player he is. Even though he did perform pretty poorly in the majors last year, I don't think that's going to continue. Clearly a really talented player, and I'm excited to see what Joe Adell can do in a full season. So on this list that we're looking at, you've got three guys that are going to be like $50, $60 guys. You've got Christian Pache, who could probably be there right away. I don't know, but he could definitely get there. But then you have a list of very interesting guys that could be prop-up guys. So if you're looking at 2020 Series 1, and you look at Gavin Lux, Yordan Alvarez, and Bo Bichette, and we've talked about this before on previous podcasts, so I won't spend too much time on it. But you're looking at those guys, and you're like, all right, these three guys are clear. I buy the box. I get these guys, PSA 10. I'm pretty good. If I can have any of these other guys pop off, this box becomes amazing. Well, they had Kyle Lewis pop off, $60, $70 PSA 10, right? But then they also had Randy Arozarena pop off. And so all of a sudden you go from three guys to four guys to five guys, and that becomes a premium box. Well, this has the same potential. Joe Adell, Dylan Carlson, Alec Bohm are the guys for me. If Christian Pache pops off, or a Keibert Ruiz, Joey Bart type of guy where people don't care that they're catchers and still pay for him, or an Evan White, or maybe Nick Madrigal surprises people and just he's not striking out and he runs a 340 average up there. Maybe that's exciting for people. There is potential there. There's not the star quality of like a 2019 Top Series 2 where there's Eloy Jimenez and Pete Alonso and Fernando Tatis. And there's not quite the depth of a 2020 Series 1 where you have five guys, but there is very good quantity with this one. And one other thing I would point out is that a lot of these years, Bo Bichette, highest price guy, $120 a PSA 10, $110 right now, I think. He's a shortstop. 2019, highest price guy, Fernando Tatis. He is a shortstop. We do not have that premium position here for 2021 Series 1. No premium shortstop position here. Andres Jimenez does not count. And so I think this set will suffer a little bit for that, but the quantity is incredible. And you can see it here, a list of 5, 10 16 guys, not including pitchers, that have potential to pop off. Obviously, not many of them will, but there is potential there. And so I'm going to stop screen sharing and close this out. A big time quantity set, which is what I'm trying to push here. There is big quantity. There's a couple guys that should fetch you $50, $60, $70 PSA 10s. Maybe I'm overestimating on Dylan Carlson a little bit, but I think Alec Baum and Joe Adell should fetch you really good prices. Dylan Carlson should be pretty good. Christian Pache should be pretty good. If those two guys or somebody else can really blow up next season, this will be an excellent product. Right now, it's a good product. I think it will be an excellent product. So thank you for listening to my 2021 Top Series 1 review. Hope it gives a little light on what I'm looking at when I'm looking at boxes and what you can be expecting. Quantity, maybe not the quality, but the quantity is there. And maybe not the top-end talent, but the quantity is there to maybe become top-end talent for 2021 Series 1. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast. Next week, I've got a fun interview I just recorded tonight with a writer from Roto World NBC, and I'm very looking forward to sending that out to you guys and getting your feedback. I had a really good time interviewing them, so I hope you look forward to that next week, and I will talk to you guys again next week.